Lover of Life says or asks, what if I've seen a lock or two with my female, but they haven't been eating steady?
It could be two things. It could be, could be a good thing that they're not eating because they're going, past the follicle growth to where they're going to be ovulating soon. Or it could just mean that they're not eating and they're not going to produce follicles and not going to produce. So it could be either or. If it looks chunky and they're bowl wrapping and cool seeking and all these other things and not eating, great. Then you're good. Then you're on your way.
Yeah.
If they're not producing follicles and not eating, that's probably why they're not producing follicles, is because they're not putting enough calories in to produce.
Now, I had one clutch of eggs ever. I didn't try to breed or anything. I was transporting ball pythons, and in the process, they bred. And the snake wasn't eating regularly before the breeding season. I don't know if this is what she's asking, maybe.
Yeah.
But meaning like up until breeding, she wasn't eating very steady, but she still had eggs. She had 4, didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
But
and that can happen,
It's not impossible.
Yeah, and sometimes females will start feeding like right in the middle of the breeding season and then produce follicles. Typically, a female that's not eating well won't produce.
Right.
Typically.
It's very rare.
Yeah, calories in is very important for production. But at some point, they do go off of food at about 20 to 22 millimeters follicles, and that's where you want. You want them to go off of food.
Dude, this is great. Frank Nitty says, great pod as always. What is the origin of that funny voice you and Jay do? I crack up every time. That's from the trip. That's like when we went out west. We just were being silly gooses on the RV. And
yeah, we were, it was a fun trip, man. I mean,
I think about it almost every day.
Yeah, I think it's, it doesn't seem real, does it?
No, because it's like we did so much in such a small period of time.
Yeah, 5,700 miles in 11 days or 12 days or whatever.
Bunch of different places, different animals, different scenery.
Just in a different I mean,
different
we went from literally winter to summer to winter.
Yeah, through spring and fall.
Yeah, and through spring and fall too. Yeah, we had every single season in 11 days.
It was a cool time to hit the country because you really did get that diversity.
Yeah, it was really a cool time to do it, and it was so much fun. There's so many great memories. I'll remember the rest of my life with
Straight
that.
Up, man.
And it's we got to do it again, and I think that I'll be in better. Actually, interestingly enough, we talked about anxiety. Like when we went on that trip, my anxiety almost like went away.
Yes.
It was like almost like the first day it was like anxious, but then after that it became like just like
normal,
like normal, like everything just went away.
It was cool, man.
And so that helped me a lot, I think. And then but I think that, and then I think like COVID was a little bit of a damper on it because we still were worried about that, and we didn't want to be around people that much, so we wanted to kind of stay in our bubble. And when we did film at places, it was kind of a little bit weird because it was like mask, but then take it off for filming, and then mask up again, and we did, because the last thing we want to do is like go on this trip and then catch COVID, because it would be optically a very bad situation for us. Like, look at how reckless they are. They're spreading COVID across the country. So I can't wait to make a trip where it doesn't matter.
I agree.
And I'm just, a week away from my second vaccine.
And then you're a superhero, baby.
Yeah, then I'm good, man.
Let Roses Burn says, the majority of the One Guy's videos are cooking, roasting, steaming iguanas, as well as shooting, darting, piercing them. He's promoting them like a freaking cooking channel. It's horrid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be a fan of that on any level, and if he's making money off it, that's it's what's I think is worse is the fact that I know some of those videos have millions of views, and that means millions of people enjoyed that, and that bothers me more than anything, to be totally honest with you. I mean, that sucks. That sucks that people enjoyed seeing animals suffer.
Yeah, right. Like, because don't anyone forget that a bigger ecological hazard than a lot of like Burmese pythons is cats everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
House cats, feral cats.
Yeah.
They kill millions of birds. They've literally eliminated hundreds of species of animals. Mm-hmm. Imagine if someone was doing that, darting cats and cooking them and shit. Like, you're telling me like those a million people would feel the same way? Fuck out of here, bro.
No, I wish I could find this this thing on my phone, but I don't know how to find
it. The Lebanese legless lizard?
No, I need to find how do I find audio files on my phone? I don't even know where they would be.
So, like, meaning like a file you've saved?
Yeah.
All right, so if you scroll to the left on your phone, you see where it says search?
Yes.
If you search files, it should come up. Yeah.
Because I want to play something if I can.
That's where mine are.
Files. I don't know what the hell that is. No, it doesn't come up.
Okay, then I don't know. It could be any. I mean, it could be in your voicemail. Like, what was
my
it?
My point is that you've heard of my Adventures of Pussy Hunter.
Yeah.
So that's a feral cat thing. Was like, we were going to do a series, and the reason I was looking on my phone is that my friend Peter Birch from Australia sent me a bunch of audio files of him doing the intro, and it's like that filthy pussy.
Wait, was it Candy? Was it?
No, it was actually my Dr. Dage.
It was Dage?
Dr. Dage. So what happened was I went to one of my therapists, and I don't know where this audio file is. My friend sent me, Peter sent me like 5 or 6, and they were all titled Pussy Hunter. Because we were going to do, again, we were talking about doing a web series just for jokes that was going to be a guy that was hunting feral cats called the Pussy Hunter.
Yeah.
And so he did this audio file things where it's like, this all like, that bloody oath.
Bloody oath. There's a giant pussy in the bush.
Yeah, there's a pussy. Do you see that pussy over there?
That's a juicy one.
And it's exactly that filthy pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just classic shit. And so I was at my therapist, and she was doing a meditation session with me that she wanted to record.
Fuck yes, dude.
And so she's like, give me your phone and I'll record this for you. I had no idea. And so literally the files come up and it's like Pussy Hunter.
Dude.
Files. And it's like,
and you're sitting there like smiling a little bit, like, what's up?
I'm like, Jesus, are you? Yeah, I didn't know she was looking at
That's what I'm saying. So she like definitely peeked at you real quick. It was like, and you're like just sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go ahead and get into this meditation there.
Come on.
And then of course when I got the phone back, I realized that she was looking at all my Pussy Hunter files.
Classic.
And I had to explain to her that they were, and then I had to of course play them for her, so that she knew that I wasn't lying about the fact that it was about feral cats. And it was just,
dude. And
it was just a
that's
nightmare.
one of my favorite things about being alive is those unexpected little, like that's such a sitcom scenario, right? Where like somebody sends you this thing, it's got a bad title, and then your therapist sees it while you're gonna do Perfect.
Yeah, and my therapist is like a like mid to late 60s little woman that is like
quaint.
And it's just like, oh my gosh,
Pussy Hunter.
And
it was a capital P,
Oh yeah, it was like it was bad. But anyway, so I was gonna play that. But anyways, let's move on.
Let Rose's Bird came back to say, never will be bored. I saved the clips of the podcast on my phone to give me a smile when I need it.
Oh well, thank you so much, and you're lovely. I appreciate you, and I can tell she's obviously upset at the Florida situation, which is understandable. And don't let anyone think that I'm not upset either. I'm just trying to be as pragmatic about it as possible. And I think that it's a tough situation when you're, like, how do you solve the issue without burning the forest down? You know what I mean? And that's my whole thing is that,
no, I agree, dude. I agree. I mean, my personal thing is nobody else's thing attached to it, but my personal thing is if you're doing it humanely, it's not a bad thing to kill invasive species. If you're doing it humanely, it's not a great thing. I don't think you should make money off it. But
the making money and torturing of animals is the part that is
unhumane treatment
really bad.
It's fucked.
It's really bad, and it's not. Obviously, I would never support it, endorse it, or want
ever.
And there will be people, obviously that. I would never work with in the future because of what they've done, and I would never, I'm obviously not supportive of that action.
Of course
is what
not.
I'm saying, yeah.
Greg's Reptile Studio says, my female ball python loves climbing branches and hanging out up high. Thoughts on the new push to describe them as semi-arboreal?
I think you've got an outlier.
Yeah,
you've got an outlier. Definitely no ball python is semi-arboreal. None. Obviously yours is, but as a species, they are not semi-arboreal.
That's not where you find them, ever.
In the wild, they don't climb. You'll never find them in a tree or a branch or, up on top of a cliff. I mean, they're ground-dwelling animals. Doesn't mean that you don't have an outlier that likes to climb and do things. No, that's fine. But
even so, Brian, think about it like this. Their cage is not that much of a level where it would be like arboreal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big, so it could still think it's ground. You know, the ball python's not going to know a 2-foot difference,
Yeah, it's possible. But yeah, definitely, you just have a rare individual that likes to climb. Most of them don't like climbing at all.
Crassy says, much love from Netherlands. Love your podcast, and I really love your videos.
Thank you. I was just talking about the Netherlands recently and how much I love it there.
Have you been?
Oh my God, many times. Yeah, many. I've been probably 8-10 times to the Netherlands. One of is probably I haven't been to all of Europe. I've been to a lot of Europe. So I haven't been to Prague. I hear is supposed to be really amazing. Obviously, Sweden and Switzerland I haven't been to. I've flown over, but I've seen it from an airplane, but I haven't been to. And so there's a lot of places in Europe I haven't been. That I'm sure I would love, but I have been to a lot of places. But the places I have been, I really do love the Netherlands. I mean, the people there are wonderful.
That's what I've heard.
It's just I just love it there. I really do, and I can't wait to go back.
Chad Strickland came back to say, you got it right. And yeah, you got it right, Jay. So the way I was pronouncing it, the Okachetovi.
Yes.
I got it right. And he says, yeah, we cruise a few times a week. Target species are usually pygmies, diamondbacks, and cottonmouths.
Wow.
Yeah, y'all come on down.
We
made the trip to y'all last month, so we would be happy to see y'all again.
Chad, it'd be great, dude. Seriously, man. Reach out, hit us up, man, on Jay's Insta, and let's try to make it happen.
That'd be awesome.
It sounds like you know where to go, and I'd love to do some more herping videos. So going out and
especially if we catch some stuff, it'd be
especially
dope.
if like pygmies are great, diamondbacks are great, cottonmouths are great, but they're just a little common, but even catching those would be, not catching them, but getting them and doing a little piece on them, it would be dope, man. So please reach out. Let's make that happen.
Clistia said, Brian, I love this podcast and I would listen to you all day. You're my idol and I love everything you do.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me. It really does. Thank you.
Dylan Swink just is throwing some love, throwing it around like snowballs.
Dylan, you're the best.
Sweetheart.
Look at Simple Man.
Dropping a 50 bomb.
Man, Simple Man, you're great, dude. I appreciate you, man. You're fucking killing it. You always kill it, man.
He says, just told my mother today that I was trying to get a snake, and she told me she'll never come to my house again if I do. She thinks a ball python can kill my 8-year-old daughter, and LOL, still going to, but any arguments I could say to convince her?
So there's a couple things there. I mean, obviously educating her on
that's it.
Reality is probably your best option because she's just couldn't be further from. Your cat wouldn't even be in jeopardy with a ball python, let alone your child or anyone else. So I think education is key when it comes to ignorance. And I'm not saying your mom's ignorant. I don't mean to say that. What I'm saying is she's just uneducated on the ball python front or snakes or whatever the case may be.
People also just love saying that shit too.
Yeah. But I think that you can get her over it. I really do. I think that if you educate her, get her around them, she may really change her point of view. And I think that it would be really good for you to do that. And I mean, it's same thing that happened with my mom. My mom hated them, and she ended up allowing me to keep hundreds of snakes in her house before I moved out. She's still not a fan of them. She's only been to my business one time, as we know we filmed it. But yeah, I mean, it's something that you can overcome 100%. I am 1,000% confident that you will overcome that.
Clistia asks, Brian, would you ever get an Ivy or Aries tattoo? And I'm saying that, Brian, I wouldn't let you leave this planet without Ivy tattooed on you.
So if you guys may not know this, but obviously my arms are Africa and Australia. My left arm will get done once I'm vaccinated. Just didn't feel comfortable sitting in a chair. Although I did see Bob got his first vaccine.
Whoa, Bobby boy?
Which I found interesting because he didn't seem like the type that I thought he'd be the type like, I ain't getting no fucking vaccine.
Yeah, what? Microstrips in
so
there?
I was super excited about that. So he'll be fully vaccinated. I'll be fully vaccinated, and I'm going to get my left arm done. So that's Australia. And then my leg started, it's got Bella on it, and that would be animals of the reptarium, and Ivy will 1,000% end up on
now,
my
is that
leg.
both legs?
Both legs are going to be animals from the reptarium.
Dope, dude. That's going to look so fresh.
100%.
That'll probably be the dopest tattoo because of all the color more. Like, you have so many different things, even though you won't do color.
Yeah.
Like, the patterns.
Contrast, the contrast will be really good. And you could just have her wrapping around some things and have, some other animals poking out of her, coils or whatever. So it's, she'll be definitely a part of my leg for sure.
Becky Gallant came back and said, you should get your guests on the Wednesday night podcast, wink. I love your solo podcast, and I can listen to you for hours.
Well, thank you, Becky. And we've talked about that, too. Noah and I just talked about this last night, how I think that we need to start bringing some people on Wednesday with the family, just because that one's a little bit, I think that, so Saturday night solo is kind of like me chatting with you guys. You guys asking questions. We're going back and forth. I'm sharing, opinions about things, so like that. I think that, so I don't know if I want to disrupt this that much, although I want to have the been wondering, idea. But then, I think checking in is very, it's not, there's not a real good flow to it sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I think that sometimes it's really good with me, Lori, and Noah, and sometimes it's just kind of weird, And so I think having some guests on with the family would be a really good way, or either that, or having some more structure, like maybe we do some
games or something. I know what you're saying. Would you rather's or whatever.
Food reviews or
mukbang.
Whatever. I mean, just bringing something more structure to it rather than like, hey, how's your day today?
Well, because that's the hard part is that you're all together all the time. So it's like if you guys had, say if it was a crazy day, then you all come down here. It's kind of hard to get that day off because it's like then you're with your family still that you've been with all day.
It's really kind of weird. It's almost like a little therapy session for the family. Like we sit down and we almost become like it's almost the most we spend.
It's like around the kitchen table, right?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So I mean, bringing someone else into that conversation might be pretty interesting. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd almost have checking in with maybe a guest, me with a guest, me solo, Noah with his comic. It's almost like we'd have 4 or 5 podcasts,
right.
but we just don't have that time. I mean, we got so much else on our plate.
But you never know what the future holds.
But you never know what the future holds, man. I mean, like I said, it's hard to say.
Maria says, if you do choose to do a guest instead of a solo, we're only giving up one Saturday a month for that.
Okay, so, is that yes, sir.
That's what I originally thought was if you had to do it, if we didn't have the ability to do 4 or 5 days, then doing a Saturday or 2 Saturdays a month. Every other Saturday was solo, and the other one was a guest.
No. Maria said once.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Maria.
Once, not twice. Once.
Maria, I love you. Trust me, I marry Marias because that's my girl. So
I know,
I love
man.
you.
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
The classic name. I mean, literally the mother of Jesus.
That is
the name.
True.
It's a classic.
It is a classic, man.
You're a classic girl.
God bless you.
Brenda Foster came back and said, thank you so much for that. Oh, wow. What a story. You are amazing. Maybe one day I'll have those balls, but it's hit or miss with me these days. Thanks again. Love to all.
Well, Brenda, I just want to encourage you. Again, I want to encourage you. I know trust me.
We do.
You don't understand how hard. That first trip I made after my really bad anxiety, when I was still very anxious, when we went down to get Drogo to Florida, that trip down to Florida, I literally wanted to just open the car and jump out on the fucking highway. 65 miles an hour, I'm rolling on the cement, man. I'm good. That's how I felt. I mean,
he's not lying.
So hard, man. But I'm telling you, every time you do it, it just gets you better and better. You're not going to get better if you don't. So I just implore you, please, for me, come visit me and you will have a great time.
Tammy says, just popping in to say hi from Lurker Tam. What up, Lurker Tam? Missed you, girl.
Tam, what's up?
The hell, man.
What's up, Lurker?
Nice to see you.
Sherry. I love Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry says, hey, Ryan and Jay, keep preaching on overcoming anxiety. We all appreciate you sharing your experiences. These podcasts are so intimate. It's as if you were talking to each of us.
Well,
Positive vibes your way.
I am talking to each of you.
Literally.
It's and that's the thing. I mean, I think, you're not going to get any more real than these podcasts. I mean, I say things sometimes that I probably shouldn't say because I talk from my heart to you guys, and this is me, and this is what you're going to get. And I don't really, I have gotten, thankfully, to the point in my life where, for the most part, I don't give a shit what people think. I do a little bit. And every now and then something will get me going. But it's nice to finally be in a position where I can just talk and be myself and literally not care if people use that against me. I don't care because I'm on a path in life that is great. Mama Tomsky.
Yeah, Mama Tomsky says, hi, Jay and Brian. Dingo had your back on his vlog. Yeah. Great guy and friend to have. All of my love.
Yeah, now, and I meant to bring Dingo up.
You did. You said it in the beginning.
Did I bring it up?
Yes, I promise.
Okay, good. Yeah, Dingo is number one. I love Dingo. The time I've spent with Dingo is amazing. He's a charismatic, lovely human being that has an energy that's amazing. I love his content. He's a true champion, man. You know, and on all things, he's great with animals. He's got a passion for animals that you rarely ever see in a person. You could see it in his eyes. You could see it, you know, everything about him. And he deserves to be one of the big dogs. You know, I mean, he really does. And the fact that he went to bat for me like that, I love him even more because he had nothing to gain by doing that. So show Dingo some love and tell him I sent you and tell him I love him because he's a good dude, man. Really good dude.
Keith Owens says, I watched today's vlog and I didn't see tobacco. It says tobacco. It's Tabasco and Sriracha. Do you no longer have them?
No, we do have them, and so yes, the cage by cage wasn't truly a cage by cage because there was some things we missed. I mean, you know, it was already a 25-minute.
It would have
vlog.
been 45.
It could have been 45 minutes. I mean, we did cut it down, but no, we do still have Tabasco and Sriracha. They're doing good, actually. They're doing really good.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite animals here.
Really good animals, yeah.
Bama says Merton's water monitor possibly for 3.0, 4.0.
Yeah, they're great. Mertens are awesome. As a matter of fact, I just saw a video today of a really dope setup where the Mertens jumped. You know, at first, all you see is it like jumping in a water with it looked like a fish tank because there was like fish and then there was a crawfish, and it goes right down to the bottom, crushes the crawfish, and then when it comes out, you realize it's its cage.
Oh wow!
You know, so its cage is like, and so they're really interesting animals, very aquatic.
How big
obviously.
are they?
They're mid-size monitors. So
Argus?
They're not like Argus size, yeah.
Wow, and it's a water monitor that's that size? That's cool.
And it's they're very agile, maybe even slightly smaller than an Argus, but very cool animals, really, really cool. So I could say, you know, I could see doing more monitors for sure in expansion.
Damn, son!
Can we rail this in?